Did you notice that just like a year and a half ago, people were home brewing their own Class 2 comp cars? And then really over 2023, we suddenly had a few choices for out-of-the-box comp stuff. We're going to look at the Vanquish VRD stance today, but just let me remind you that it comes on the trail of the SCX10 Pro, which is an out-of-the-box solution for comp crawlers. And indeed, even though I had my battles with this thing, the Vanquish Phoenix Portal, with some modifications, not heavy, but light modifications, this thing actually becomes a bit of a competition beast. This thing took out our local comp last weekend. It wasn't mine, someone else's, who's actually done the tuning. But you've heard me say over the last year especially that it's never been a better time to be in RC. And seriously, there really hasn't been a better time. Let me show you partly why that is today. Yes, it's an out-of-the-box Vanquish comp truck. This is for Class 2, or for the WRCCA, it's performance scale. Now, while the SCX10 Pro had 40% overdrive with that selectable transmission, I actually quite like what Vanquish has done here. They've got 6% overdrive out of the VFD transmission, which again, we looked at in the Phoenix Portal, so you can see my last video all about that. But this has actually been simplified. Where are we? There's actually quite a lot less to it now. They've gone and stuck 18% overdrive in the portal gears. That's these fellas down here. So it's not the ring and pinion here, it's the portal gears, and that's where they're getting the overdrive in the front, and that's 18%. For a total of 24% overdrive out of the box. Now, another thing we saw in the SCX10 Pro was brass inside the front. And from the roll your own solutions for comp trucks in previous years, a lot of us were buying beef tubes. That was the original product that launched the beef tubes company. They did brass sleeves that went inside the axle. My Viterra Ascender is running them, and it's years old now. Vanquish has gone and stuck them front and rear, and they've done some kind of heavy alloy thing in the front as well. So this, I understand, is the heaviest Vanquish product to date as far as comp trucks go. And this is it. It's 4 mils longer than the SCX10 Pro. And I suppose it's actually a direct competitor to the SCX10 Pro as far as competing for your money goes, because these are two out-of-the-box. One's a kit, one's a build, but there'll probably be a kit for this if there isn't already. I haven't looked into that. But they're both pretty decent out of the box. Now, one thing that I found particularly interesting with the Vanquish here is their VXT2 tires, which I've actually purchased and already mounted on a set of wheels for my much talked about, I promise coming this year, massive crawler tire test. I'm trying to get almost all the tires that are out there, like it's a huge project. But one thing that this came with that the VXT2s didn't come with when I bought them standalone was comp tuned foams. It feels like two-stage. There's a really firm inner and a really soft outer. So there's plenty of squish and then not much at all. This is actually perfect for comps. Perfect. The single stage foams that come with these tires when you buy them separately are just really squishy. There's just no comparison. I wish that they included foams like this with those tires, because oh boy, these are good. They're too soft to be really usable unless you have a really lightweight rig. So we have the stance here. Now, the first thing to mention is this radio. I haven't actually seen this radio before. It's got an LCD screen, you'll notice, but when you turn it on, it gives you the voltage, if you can see that in this sunshine. And then it just gives you a bunch of settings. They do include a manual, and that just shows you the flowchart of it. So you can do channel reverse, endpoints, expo for both throttle and steering, trim for all 4 channels, because it is a 4-channel radio. There's channel 3, and there's a 3-position switch for channel 4. The other unusual thing about this radio is, and it's a shame we're doing this outside, but as you accelerate, it lights up the more you squeeze the throttle. So nothing up. I know it's bright out here, but I found that interesting. So that's the radio. The manual I found a little challenging. It feels somewhat incomplete. They do give you a breakdown of the parts in it, but it's not actually a full exploded parts diagram. You haven't got the lines that show where everything should go. And confusingly, even though I understand they've done overdrive in the front axles, let's get to the axles. They've got the same part number for the portal gears front and rear, even though the fronts are apparently overdriven. Same with the ring and pinion, they've got the same part numbers on them. So I'm a little unsure. This is somewhat incomplete. I don't know if it's an, I think it's an oversight. These gears should have a different part number, 8353, to the rears, 8353 for the portal gears, because it's apparently 18% overdrive for the front out of that. And then they also give you a table for the possible pinion and spur gear combinations for the transmission. And out of the box, it's 6% biased to the front. That's a 6% overdrive to the front. That really is it. The rest of it's just safety stuff, really, and maintenance. And then option parts list. So it is quite basic. I'd like to see a bit more about, especially just getting the part numbers correct, just if you're going to order stuff. The other thing it comes with is a bunch of spares. It's actually, it looks to me like the kind of spares you'd need if you're going to build out the transmission to make it selectable. And it also has some of the interior pieces that we saw from the Vanquish Phoenix Portal. So that's the extent of the inclusions. Here's fiddly little clips. Wouldn't hurt to have little pro pulls on them. You can make your own. I might just add those little bits of fabric tape just to help make the body removal easier. Paint protection, because we've got exterior painting for the black, the little bed here. It's an attractive body though. I like that they've masked the windows when doing the painting. Right, here it is. Sorry, it's my little adapter for my battery. Just a XT60 to XT30 soldered to each other. Good little trick. It's a WP1060 ESC with Vanquish's own branding on it. I don't know what they've changed. Presumably drag brake profile, maybe, or punch. Maybe they're the only two things I can think of that might have changed, but it's otherwise a stock standard 1060. It's the VRD1 receiver, which comes with this interesting little radio system, which I'll add. It includes the AA batteries for in here. And then you've got these aluminium sides, which you don't actually need in the 2024 rules for the WRCCA rule set. I don't know about Sorka. These will grab rocks, being aluminum. I prefer to see them nylon as far as scraping over stuff goes. And look, this is all quite open, whereas on the Vanquish Phoenix Portal, it was enclosed, and you had your selector as well. So they've made this more basic, and this is not a complaint, just an observation. We've got bent rear links. Everything's actually very small diameter. These weights up front on the front axle and the beef inside means the whole thing actually weighs quite a bit. 35 tone motor, and it's a, I don't know, it feels like about a, what do we call that? It's about a 2/3 forward bias. The weight bias is right on the front of the skid there. And look how nice and low that motor is. Same as on the Vanquish Phoenix Portal. You can see the motor right in the front there as well. So they do have that in common. These tyres are far and away better, especially the foams. Gee, I can't wait to see them on the track. What else have we got? We've got the same suspension that we've come to like from Vanquish. I like these shocks. And being that it's an RTR, I mean, I think these springs are maybe there's maybe a little bit too much preload on it out of the box. But how much? Oh, I see. So no, they've done it because the springs aren't quite long enough, so it's so that they stay seated. Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with that. Given that it has portal axles, torque twist isn't going to be a big deal. So it really doesn't matter that your drive shafts are coming out in the same direction, because these portals will cut out torque twist, as will the the effectively underdriven rear. So it actually seems like a fairly decent little product. The servo is often a sore point for RTR stuff. This is a 200 ounce per inch or 14.4 kilogram per centimeter, or at 1 centimeter servo. So a 14 and change steering servo. That's not super strong for a comp truck. It should be up to the job, I suppose, but it's probably pushing the limits if you're going to drive it hard. But otherwise, I mean, it's pretty nice, isn't it? Let's just put it side by side. Now remember, the SCX10 Pro is a kit, while your Vanquish is ready to run. But these have plastic sides, which I like much better. There's a lot of scratching on it from rocks. That helps it slide. Aluminium or aluminum seems to catch when it slides over rocks, so that's something I'd like to see changed perhaps. The motor position is actually in a fairly similar spot. You see how low the motor is on the Pro there. I think the Vanquish gets the motor lower though. But their layout's fairly similar. Your transmission sits back in here and your transfer case, they're both built in. They do have the same low profiles. I clearly haven't optimized this for comps with this big axe system in it, but that was just what I used at the time. If I was going to build this and actually take it to comps with me, I'd probably swap that out for something lightweight. This is a lovely little lightweight solution on the Vanquish. I think I'm actually pretty happy with it overall. I'm especially interested to see how these tires go. The last thing to tell you is the wheelbase. The SCX10 Pro is 318mm and the Vanquish VRD stance is 322mm. Just 4mm longer. It's actually not much, it's about that. It's about 4mm. It really isn't much at all. Now we know that my SCX10 Pro struggled on my 6 problem course. It got hung up quite a bit. Now looking at the undercarriage of these, it looks to me that this is actually up a little higher, although I haven't measured them off the bench. This slides, this is a nice slide, that little extra protection for the motor. This doesn't have that. You've got a drive shaft which is lower than that drive shaft. And we do have bent rear links in the rear on each. The SCX10 Pro doesn't have a link riser. This guy, it's a little higher. It's got the option to make it lower, but this doesn't really have a riser either. So that does give you a rough idea of the two, the SCX10 Pro and the VRD stance. This thing is lighter. This thing, I have a video coming soon. We might make it like a live workbench. I'm going to convert this to as close to the competition spec as Axial's driver Wyatt. Sorry Wyatt, I've forgotten your last name, but he took the World Championship in 2023 with this thing for his class. This needs some changes, but I've got it was under $200 worth of stuff to turn this thing into, I think, roughly the same spec as what Wyatt had. I'll put your last name on the screen, Wyatt. Sorry again, I forgot your last name, mate. But that's quite interesting to me that this thing does have potential. Clearly this thing will have the same potential as well. There's really not a lot between them. I think we should get this on the 6 problem course and just see what we think. Now remember, my 6 problem course tests breakover in particular. Breakover, side hilling, it twists the axles up a bit, it tests really difficult short ascents. So it does put the truck through its paces, but breakover will be punished. If a car struggles with breakover, I mean, even the Vanquish Phoenix Portal really struggled. I think the tires are going to make a difference, but I can't wait to see what the truck is like. Let's hit the problems and see how it goes. All right, just getting the battery in and on. Better get that forward weight bias. Extra performance. Okay, now, what are endpoints like out of the box? Good. Sweet, let's do it. Welcome, my friends, to problem 1 of 6. Don't even know what the top speed of this thing is yet. Oh, look at this. Now, these tires are nice and soft at first with a hard backing. It's going to make them really difficult to distort. They're only 0.05 of an inch off the maximum size allowed for WRCCA performance scale. Sorka is probably similar. But that is about as tidy a finish on problem 1 as you will ever see. Continuing straight into problem 2. These beetles are everywhere. All mating at the moment. I didn't even have to line this thing up. I'm going to try and avoid running over these guys. They are absolutely everywhere. There we go, missed them. Problem 2, smooth as silk. Let me show you where these beetles are coming from. Look at this. Problem 3, I'm not even trying to get the angle right, we're just going to tackle it head on. Most cars won't do this. Holy cow, holy moly. Wow. Here's problem 4. These 6 problems are designed to show off vehicle weaknesses. I haven't found any yet. Can we get to bottom out at least? Yes, good. Alright, that's okay. Can this be recovered? Maybe. I've got the front right hooked onto the rock where we're going, we're going to need it to fall off to the right. And these beetles are all over me. Ah, it's distracting. Get off me. Okay, problem 4. Take 2. These beetles are just distracting. They're crawling up my legs. All right. This time we're going to stay closer to us, which will give us a better chance of recovery. Now you could do this quickly right now, just bump it across, but I don't think we're going to need to. I'll just change that camera, because I think we're going to maintain reach with these portals and 4.75 tires. Look at that. So that was just a question of direction. Easy peasy. Into problem 5. Okay, it bottomed out just a little then with breakover, but again, portals and large tires making up for it, and that lovely low weight bias, goodness me, just really making up for a lot of potential trouble. Beautiful approach and departure angle. Look at this. I'm just going to change camera angle from here. Continuing onto the main part of problem 5. I'm liking these tires. Clearly getting the foams right makes a big difference. I already liked them, but wow. They don't deform, like they don't bend sideways, because they've got that lovely stiff inner foam and a really soft outer foam. So soft you almost think it's not there. And finally, problem 6. This bottom part's always a little different. She's a bit of a mess in there now. It's not usually this difficult, but I don't think this car is going to have a problem with it. Easy as you please. Look at that. I think the overdrive is about right. I've found personally I like somewhere in the mid-high 20s to very low 30s. 24 absolutely works well for this car. That nasty hole not helping. There we are, there we are. We'll have it now. Nope, we won't have it. Give that another go. Be right back. Sorry if the camera angle's changed, I just had a courier interruption. I left the car where it was there. Alright. We're having trouble getting that back right wheel up. I think I found the way up here. We need to stay high on the right. Like this, and now that back left is coming up, we can come across, and we're going to hoik it right in a sec. There we go. Like it was nothing. Wow, that was short and sweet, wasn't it? What I don't like about this car really is just the interface is a little, it's not quite as intuitive as it might be, and I think it might trip some people up, but honestly, it's set and forget. Once you've done it once, it's good to go. You don't need to worry about it. And it's nice that it includes a 4 channel, because it's not necessary. It just needs a 2. The rest of it, blimey. This is the new most capable car out of the box, period. It just is. For a 4-wheel drive, ready to run, I challenge you to find a better crawler out of the box in this class. Capra might have it beat, but that's not the same class, is it? Wow, just wow. Well, this is going to come with me to my next comp, and we'll see how it does. And we're also going to do up the SCX10 Pro soon and give it all the same comp spec as what Wyatt took to the World Championship in 2023. These 2 cars are the ones to have, honestly. I'd love to do a head-to-head. Tell you what, next time I'm going to take this to the gorge with the 10. We'll do a head-to-head in their current state. We'll use the same wheels and tires, these ones I think, and we'll just see how they both go. Guys, thanks for watching. Throw me a like. I appreciate your time. Thanks for choosing RC-TNT, and I'll catch you next time.